In this video, I'm going to address the question, is there evidence from history or scripture that God cares about our suffering or that he helps in our pain? There are many facets that this question has, and we should look at it very carefully. The topic of pain and suffering can always be a challenging subject for discussion. Moreover, when trying to bring God into this discussion, some people can just shut off the discussion or will just completely ignore the aspect of God. Everybody relates differently to the problem of pain. While it may be easy to provide an intellectual answer to this problem, it is almost impossible for that answer to fulfill the crisis that pain and suffering causes in someone's life. No amount of rationality will be able to answer the question that a mother has when she loses her newborn baby, or when a husband loses his spouse to cancer, or when a child is abandoned by their parents. The problem of pain and suffering goes beyond rationality and logic. But that doesn't mean there's no answer to the issue. There is, and that answer is love and hope. Love helps us to go past and through the problem of pain and suffering, while hope helps us not to lose sight of the meaningfulness of life. The truth is that God does in fact care for our pain and suffering. He is the one that provides us with the help we need to heal and go past such negative experiences in our lives. The Bible in 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." Some would say that the only help one needs when going through pain and suffering is just psychological or counseling help. However, I would argue that there is also a need for spiritual healing. While most religions of the world attempt to provide a solution to the problem of pain and suffering, in the end they all prove to be just a self-help formula. For example, for the Hindus and the Buddhists, the pain and suffering is just a mere result of your past life. For the Muslims, it is just a result of your own actions or perhaps a punishment from God. Even atheists believe that the pain and suffering is meaningless and is just another manifestation of nature. But that's not how Christianity sees this problem. Christianity not only acknowledges the problem of pain and suffering, but it also points to the root of the problem itself. Not only that, but it also provides the solution. As we will see, the God of the Bible not only provides healing for our suffering, but he cared so much for our human suffering that he himself came to suffer for us. The God of the Bible is the only God that directly intervenes when people suffer. Why? Because in comparison to other religions, the God of the Bible is a personal God who is in essence love. For example, if we look in history, more specifically in the Old Testament, we see how God intervened over and over again for his nation Israel when they experience pain and suffering. Exodus tells us of a story where God delivered his people from the slavery bondage in Egypt. And while they were traveling through the wilderness, God has miraculously provided water and food for them. In the book of Numbers, we are told of a story where Moses made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole, and anyone that looked at that pole was healed immediately. Another example would be in the book of Daniel, where his friends were protected by God's angel in the fiery furnace. And these are just a few examples of the multitude of interventions that God had in the Old Testament. But direct interventions are not the only way God helps his people to deal with pain and suffering. He also provides the strength one needs to go past and through pain and suffering. For example, Nehemiah 8:10 says that the joy of the Lord is one's strength to go through suffering. Moreover, in the New Testament, we see Jesus himself performing many miraculous healings, and not only that, but he also raised people from the dead. So we see that God cares for his people when they experience pain and suffering. The reality of pain and suffering is a direct indication that the world we live in is not supposed to be like this. The problem of pain and suffering is the result of a much, much deeper problem, namely the brokenness of sin. But God didn't ignore the problem of sin, and because we were unable to deal with this problem ourselves, he willingly stepped into our world to take upon himself the problem of sin, making himself subject to the physical pain and abuse and the weight of sin while on that cross. In my view, I think Christianity is the only worldview that provides a solution to the problem of pain and suffering. You see, Christianity not only recognizes the reality of pain and suffering, but it also provides the love, hope, and comfort that one needs in order to go through and past suffering and pain. God not only cares about our suffering, but he also relates to our suffering because he himself experienced suffering through Jesus Christ on the cross. And because of that, we can be assured that we can have a real relationship with God even while going through pain and suffering. God was able to endure all the pain and suffering and even death on the cross on our behalf so that we can be reconciled with him. And as a result of this, we have received the hope that one day all the pain and suffering will no longer exist and we will enjoy the eternal joy in his presence forever.